Bieniemy is back in KC. Can he fix the Chiefs' offense? Chad O'Shea joins the staff. Can he redeem the wide receivers? And the Bills sent their head coach away. Was this too extreme? And should Andy Reid have been given a harsher ending to his 2025 season? All that and more on the first episode of Gridiron Gambit.
Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Offseason. Let's work. Hey.
What a strange sensation to be talking about the offseason in the middle to end of January. But Red Kingdom Media, this is where we're at, guys. Because your Chiefs did not make the playoffs this year. And as we're recording, this is the day before the conference championships. So you're going to see either the Broncos or the Patriots be Super Bowl representatives. And then you got another NFC West showdown on the other side with the Rams and Seahawks. But on the AFC side, this is unfortunately the first time under Patrick Mahomes we're not hosting and or being in the AFC Championship game. And it was such a strange feeling to not even get to play a wild card game. But here we are. There's still technically NFL football games happening. But the Chiefs aren't playing any of that. And all their focus is on the 2026 season. So that is where we're at right now. And that brings us to the first episode of Gridiron Gambit. It's kind of a surreal feeling to be here this early. But there is not an absence of things to talk about here in the Chiefs Kingdom. So there's topics, and you know that Red Kingdom Media's got to give it to them. So we got to start with the first one that's been going around, the most talked about, that EB is back, guys. The enemy is here. So the biggest news coming out of Kansas City to start this offseason is, of course, the hiring of former Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. And with that move, they are, in fact, saying goodbye to Matt Nagy and a handful of other coaches, one of which we will mention in our second segment. But, Jordan, what are your thoughts on EB's return and the subsequent Matt Nagy departure?
So, on a side note, me and you always talked about what's going on with the offense and stuff like that. And I told you that we needed Eric Bieniemy back. And I said that multiple times. I ain't gonna lie. And it kind of sucks we gave him away while we was winning. But, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it. It was hoping for better opportunities for EB. But just having him back is pretty dope. And I feel like we'll bring back that aggressive offense that we needed, which we had back then when we was winning Super Bowls. And I'm not mad at Matt Nagy leaving at all. Hopefully, in prayers, if you get a head coach position, which I'm mad at. But I am glad that Eric Bieniemy is back and that chemistry will come back to the offense, hopefully. So we'll see how things go once the season starts and once OTAs and all that start as well. We'll see if that aggressive offense will come back to the Kansas City Chiefs.
So I'll be very careful about how I say this, because if you just go based off of what's happened in the past, you'd say, yeah, this is a great hire, because when the Chiefs had Eric Bieniemy specifically as their offensive coordinator, great things happened. And then when Matt Nagy started to take over, you had some issues, some slowdown, the key word with Eric Bieniemy is accountability, man. And he is going to bring that back to this offense in full. So there's good things to be said there. And the other avenue that we can be kind of thankful to bring Eric Bieniemy back is kind of the running scheme. So last year, the running game was never attempted. It was never worked on, and it just felt like at times that was the thing the Chiefs needed to work the most. And the fact that they didn't give it the time of day kind of just imploded the whole season. And then all the pressure went on the wide receivers, and they couldn't make up the task. And so it kept being a blame game. But one thing that Eric Bieniemy is not going to do is play that and kind of just throw his hands in the air saying, oh, well, can't do anything about it. Eric Bieniemy is the exact type of offensive coordinator that Andy Reid was looking for, because you have someone who's not trying to implement your own scheme. So it's important for Andy Reid to continue to have that power over this offense, and that was never going to change. But to have Eric Bieniemy back essentially reiterates that, no, we are successful. We know what we're doing. And if we just have the right guy to yell the right message into the players we have, they will do what they're supposed to do. And if they do what we're supposed to do, then we're going to be successful and start winning championship games. So the logic is not necessarily flawed there. And I think if that was the only news that we heard about, and only type of one-for-one different person for a different coach, then I might still be a little unsure about how 2026 will look any different than how 2025 went. When we get to our second topic after the break, that's going to kind of ease my feelings about things, because another one of the issues the Chiefs had, they did bring in somebody to address that specific area. So it wasn't a complete, act of hubris and pride to say, no, we know what we're doing 100%. If we keep everyone here in the exact same way, in the exact same position, the exact same coaching position, whatever the case, that everything's just going to work itself out. They did at least recognize they weren't successful because he didn't make the playoffs. So you have to be honest there. There's one thing as, media, when you're trying to talk to coaches, and Andy Reid especially, he's not going to give you anything. So the biggest key thing that he gave us was that the running game just was not working, and that clearly was not an emphasis of focus for them. With bringing Eric Bieniemy back and that relationship that he had already with the offensive line coach, Andy Heck, I think both of them kind of take on that running game coordinator type role. And so to have that voice back within that room is going to help out a lot. I don't think there's going to be a player that won't hear Eric Bieniemy's voice, and I think that's important, because there were times the offense kind of shrugged it off and said everything would work itself out. I mean, you'd even hear Travis Kelce on the New Heights podcast saying that same type of message. I don't think if a week or two goes by and things aren't looking good for this team, that those players are going to speak with that same type of confidence to turn it around. I think they're going to take that onus. They're going to realize whether or not they are contributing what they are supposed to do, and kind of just try to build each other up from there. It was such a weird feeling in 2025 to just not have things working and just kind of be hopeless about the whole thing.
Right.
It's one thing to have hope that you're going to be able to fix it, but they were so hopeless. They're like, no, this is the only way we know how to do things. There's no going back and changing it now. So whatever we have, we just got to sink or swim with. And it was a sinking feeling, and they sunk their season, and it kind of puts a black mark on this Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes relationship we have right now. Because like we said at the beginning, this is unprecedented territory to be on the outside this long, longing for what could have been in 2025, and now overly looking ahead in 2026 and talking about draft picks and all these other things that would have been foreign to us long ago. So I think with the congruence of other coaching additions and subtractions the Chiefs made, I think Eric Bieniemy is kind of the best case scenario right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this season and beyond, more of the blame will then go on Andy Reid, because it was very easy to blame Matt Nagy for a lot of the offensive issues this season. Even though all of us know Matt Nagy is not starting what this offense does. The offense runs through Andy Reid, and Matt Nagy just relays what he says and tries to get people to do what Andy Reid says. And maybe that wasn't so successful, and they believe that Eric Bieniemy, with his attitude and his accountability, can make those players do the things that Andy Reid told them to do and believe in the system, and that it will work out. But this season will be kind of that test, because all the pieces were in place when Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator. He is coming in. He's coming in at a time now where, I mean, arguably they're in a lower point than 2017 into 18, even though, 2018 they made it to the AFC Championship, but that was a foreign concept to them before that point. 2017 they lost in the wild card, and who knows if Patrick Mahomes played a little before that, maybe that's a better end to 2017. I don't know. But overall, the offense has looked great when Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy underneath him were doing their thing. And we saw Patrick Mahomes sharing about how he's happy that Eric Bieniemy is back. Travis Kelce has mentioned how he's happy Eric Bieniemy is back, and said that he'd be in the room. So that's kind of the different thing, guys. Travis Kelce in his podcast was all being like, who knows, those guys over there. When he was talking about Eric Bieniemy, it was like he was in the same room as him that time. So maybe we can be hopeful that we can get a true redemption year in 2026, because 2025 sure was not that redemption year. It was a true rebuilding year, and we needed to rebuild some things and replace some parts that might not have been doing what they should have or could have been doing. So in comparing the fact that Eric Bieniemy has joined the Chiefs, what are your overall thoughts about Matt Nagy and his tenure in Kansas City, and what you think his future may hold?
Hey, I'm not mad at Matt Nagy. He's done a phenomenal job. He gave us a couple more Super Bowls, and I just feel like this was the time for him to go, definitely with the season we had. There really wasn't a lot of aggressiveness that we should have had, and there was way too many games that we lost under a touchdown. And I feel like it's cool, and we got to start hard and finish hard. It's always we start hard and finish however we wanted to. That's way too many times. I understand you do it one time and learn from it, but you did it 9 different times. And that's not really a good showing from a team that's previously been to the Super Bowl last year. After that Super Bowl, it kind of showed how the season would go to the next season. And it definitely showed for sure. But with Matt Nagy, I feel like he'll find a good spot for him. And I feel like depending on what position he gets, I feel like that his offensive mind and what he likes to do will fit there.
I agree. I think Matt Nagy is going to get a lot more chances than, as we saw Eric Bieniemy got. I mean, the reason Eric Bieniemy was no longer on this team after 2022 was because the Chiefs thought that he would go on to do better things. And he never eclipsed being an offensive coordinator within the NFL. And then after that 1 year, he just bowed out, and it's been a, quote, worse role in the NFL or college than he had before. So at the time when the Chiefs thought that Eric Bieniemy should go get rewarded for how much he's done for the Chiefs team, the NFL and even college ranks did not give him that same level of respect. But I think even with what we've seen out of Matt Nagy and the kind of downfall of the offense, so to say, we think he's still going to get opportunities. It didn't seem like their head coaching opportunities, like the Chiefs made it sound like there would be.
Right.
But I mean, Matt Nagy's interviewing all over the place. If you had told me Matt Nagy is the Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator a year ago, I think we would have been like, that's hilarious and poor Philadelphia. But Philadelphia, they think that's a good thing because they have that type of organization above them that they could use a guy like Matt Nagy and use him to the fullest extent. Whereas maybe here in Kansas City, with the particular voice that was above him, he was never going to really get a shot to try to do things his way. And when he's trying to do a little bit of what he does through the mind and hands of Andy Reid, it just did not come to be. It did not work out in the manner everyone would hope. You can see the decline in the offensive production over the couple years that Matt Nagy was the offensive coordinator. Right. And to throw shade on him in 2025 when the Chiefs were losing all these close games, I think that's valid, but you also have to give him that same scrutiny when they're winning all these close games and they're by very slim score margin. I mean, this Chiefs offense at any time, they've given us the arrogance to think they could put up 40 points at any time against any team. And that might not be realistic, but those are the expectations they placed on us. And it didn't seem like they had those attitudes. And we know for a fact that Andy Reid is not the type of coach to stand on a coach's neck and to put 50 on him and kind of assert his dominance. But Eric Bieniemy sure can. Eric Bieniemy sure has that attitude that he can sense, hey, no, if we let up on any of this pressure, we're going to get got. I mean, you can go back to the AFC Championship game versus the Bengals the first time. I mean, that offense was rocking. And then the second half, and going right into halftime, not getting any points. And they were just like, yeah, let's just fall off a cliff. So to kind of give Matt Nagy some credit then, Eric Bieniemy has been in that same position of watching this team crumble and still not be able to bring them fully out. That all just becomes Andy Reid's responsibility. I mean, this team is going to go as high or low as Andy Reid is willing to challenge them to go. And this year was very complacency, and we will do things our way and it'll work out. And it didn't. And I think we're both hoping that this Eric Bieniemy move is kind of a shift back to status quo and not so much a retread on the same tires.
Right.
But it's hard to, I don't know, depending on the type of mindset and view on the NFL and how your Chiefs team is performing and building to the future, you could think either way. You could think this is the greatest move because it's a callback to greatness, or you can think that it's just repeating the same issues and not truly getting the actual rebuilding and repurposing of this team that you want. I've heard several people be like, 2025 was great, or this is exactly what Chiefs needed because we needed to kind of fall off our throne a little bit, get humbled, have a top 10 draft pick, and kind of let this front office build the way that they're supposed to build. But to that point, if it builds in 2026, all bets are off. Cool. But if we see the same type of issues this next year that we just saw and basically see like nothing's changing, then you have to look at the sources.
Yep.
And our last topic will kind of broach that subject of how much does Andy Reid deserve blame, or how much leeway does he get around this? Because he had the same type of ending in Philadelphia. Like, the Eagles loved him so much, but they also had a dramatic decline in the team, the organization, the city was kind of just fed up with how Andy Reid operated on stuff. And we're hoping that's not the case, and that Eric Bieniemy kind of just relights that fire that Andy Reid has and always will have. But if it seems like we're a little tired, we're a little slow, we're not as urgent as we have been in the past, then, it's justified to have this conversation later and say, like, was this out of the writing on the wall? Did we need to make some drastic changes a year earlier than we thought we did because the writing was on the wall? Or did we just have our red and gold colored glasses on to think, we'll just fix it, it'll all be fine? We have such recent success. That success will definitely continue on into the future because we just believe in it so wholeheartedly and everything works out for us. 2025, that wasn't it. Is 2026 going to be the year where that repeats, or are they going to have the success they hope for? Who knows?
Right. And also, the point with Bieniemy, definitely him being a former running back coach, he could definitely help us out, build up our running back group more and be more physical and aggressive and make things better for the running backs. Right now, we still got Pacheco, we still got Hunt. It was hilarious still in base. And surprisingly, we still got
he'll be back, y'all. It's the first gridiron gambit of the year. You got to give us grace here. I mean, we all got issues. We're dealing with the storm.
All right, I'm here. There we go.
Yeah, you're good.
Hopefully, I'm still live and going. So hopefully things get better with the running backs group. And surprisingly, we didn't use Pierce a lot this past season. But hopefully we can use him a little bit more unless we don't keep him. But we see how things go with the running back group.
And there's a lot of talk about, are the Chiefs going to bring in one of those top 2 or 3 free agent running backs? That would be helpful. If they don't want to do that, there's a running back that keeps getting mocked with the top 10. There are some people that they got their flag staked on that move. Maybe me not so much. Maybe I want to build in the trenches. But that's draft talk. That's still a couple months from now.
Right.
The national championship game just ended this week, so officially college football is done, and every player is now focusing on what their next move during this offseason is. So, who knows about that? We'll be excited to bring that information to you, but I agree. The move with Eric Bieniemy just signaled they knew they needed to do something to their running back room, and I think Eric Bieniemy fixes the needing accountability for your coordinator and needing a run game reboot, and he kind of accomplishes both of those moves all in one person, all in one motion. But the question for next season, will that be enough?
Right.
That's going to be a test, and this team needs some fresh juice, and most of that might come within the roster, but at least we have some of that within the coaching staff as well, and we'll get onto that in our second topic. But before we get to that, please
make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Red Kingdom Media. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave a like or comment so we can reply and interact with you and make you a part of the show. If you listen to us on Spotify, please rate us 5 stars so we can increase our reach in the playlist. Follow us and all our contributors on all the social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. If you'd like to come on and talk Chiefs, message us so we can potentially set that up. Do you enjoy written content? Subscribe to our Substack. We have both a free and a $5 a month subscription and post on there frequently. And if you have any interest in being a contributor on the writing staff, feel free to reach out and we'll be in touch. It would help support the brand if you would purchase our merch, like the shirt that I'm wearing currently. Set up an order for one of these or 2 or 3, and this will allow us to expand our inventory options. Thanks for being a part of this channel, and if there's any partner that's listening to this interested in sponsoring the show or any other content that we produce, please reach out. Now, back to the show.
Moving on to our second topic, we got Edelman O'Shea.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded more fun in my head, but so coming up with topics. The first of the year, I'm a little rusty, guys. You got to let me kind of get my footings again. But anyway, along with the names released for the Chiefs coaching staff was wide receiver coach Connor Embree. And some of y'all might remember couple of years ago when we had Jason Dunn on and we were talking about this man, and some of us were advocating for us. Some of us were a little harsh on him. Now history kind of reveals that self, but he gets that grace all the same. If y'all haven't seen that, go back and check out the After Hours with Jason Dunn. It's still one of my favorite pieces of content for Red Kingdom Media. Anyway, KC went out and signed former New England wide receivers coach Chad O'Shea. He has been credited as developing Julian Edelman into an NFL caliber receiver. So what do you think of this new experienced mind in the wide receiver room?
Man, just him being a part of the Patriots and during that time was crazy. And just him having that, of course, that wide receiver mind on and off the field, I feel like it definitely will help the wide receiver group. And with the talent that we have, hey, we got to put it out there because we got one of the best wide receiver groups in the league. I can say that because we just don't only have one person. We got 4 different type of wide receivers on our team that we could use to our advantage. We got Juju out there. We got Hollywood. We got Rice. We got just number speed, Xavier Worthy. We got speed out there, and let's use that to an advantage. Like, hey, of course we got Kelsey. Hey, let's get somebody off the bench, and hey, he'll get some. We got Noah Gray. We had O'Shaughnessy. We had a lot of options with this wide receiver group that we have. With the season, and also with the season we had last year, we should have been blowing these coverages out the water. But now that we got O'Shea, maybe that can happen for the next season, and he can really boost up this wide receiver group. Because, hey, you need to tell them, like, hey, we got the best talent out there. Y'all just need to use it.
So this move right here is the Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. This is your time to put up or shut up. Xavier Worthy, you came in the NFL. People thought you would be an NFL receiver, and you have arguably played worse over the last couple of years than when you started and when you were playing in college at Texas. Rashee Rice, your best season came the very first year you were here. You've had injuries and suspensions take you out multiple times. And then to end last season when you were on the field, nobody could depend on you. You were either dropping balls or weren't where you're supposed to be. Juju Smith-Schuster is an NFL receiver. He'll be on this roster for as long as he wants to be here and the Chiefs want him. He should be the Chiefs' 4th or 5th wide receiver on this team every year, and that's totally fine. Hollywood Brown makes it seem like he's going to come back, but the Chiefs might have had a kind of be done with that and see if they can bring on a player that is more consistent and has been able to play longer and has more production in the NFL. But yeah, Chad O'Shea is going to be the glue that either fixes the wide receivers and makes them look the best they've ever looked, or he's going to expose these guys for not having arguably the mind that it takes to be a wide receiver in this league, because Shea has made something out of nothing. No offense to Julian Edelman, but a 6th round kick returner in the NFL is not the same type of player that we discussed was the wide receiver core on our team last year. So expectations were way up here and production was lower than my camera can pick up on here. So what is this Chiefs? What are these receivers going to do now that, number one, Eric Bieniemy is back in the room, and number 2, now you have a wide receivers coach that you can't, little bro anymore. Oh, right. The guy coaching me, the best thing he's ever done is coach in high school. I don't got to listen to this guy. Oh, Mr. O'Shea, you have actually more Super Bowl rings than I do, and you've been with players that are better than me, and you've made players that started out not as good as me to perform better than me. Okay, I'm listening now. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to adapt. My ego has fallen because I see that you are trying to make me better and not just tear me down for my mistakes or my flaws. So this could be a bigger move than the Bieniemy move to me. Because
I'm about to say he's been played against the best and fought against the best. Like, come on now. It really shows.
Like, there's no more excuses. You can't keep pointing the finger. Like, if this guy can't get you to play better and make you better than you were a week before, you got to question how much you care about this game, how much you care about actually being an NFL or even a Hall of Famer type of wide receiver, that you just want to be, in the league, cashing checks, getting fame, whatever that, like, it's going to showcase whether your mentality is in the right place, because you can't question the legitimacy of the coach that is directly above you anymore. And if you do, then you got an authoritative issue, and that normally won't work on an Andy Reid team, because Andy Reid is in charge, and then he subsequently gives a little bit of control down to his coaches, down. And then the more you prove yourself as a player, the more you can appear up in his kind of ranking of that way.
Right.
But, I am a fan of this move. I think this was kind of the most necessary move the team needed to have, even more than the Matt Nagy was the acknowledgement that the wide receivers coach, we just weren't producing the results that, frankly, the names and the money that we were paying should have. Now, we don't have Justin Jefferson at a big contract on our roster or anything like that, but Rashee Rice flashed in his first year. We thought we'd be paying him as much as Jamar Chase. I don't think he's deserved that now. Xavier Worthy thought he could be our next Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's deserved that credit now. So, the young wide receivers that are still on this roster now have a lot to prove. And any other receivers that team bring in, they can now have a different mindset about the group that they're joining than maybe the years before, where they thought, oh, it'll be fun. We're all together. And we're all like, last year they were trying to have that persona of a group. And then it was, looking around and pointing fingers. Are you going to contribute? Are you going to be the one to get us out of this hole? Who's going to do it? Because I can't. And now I think it's going to be like, no, I'm going to will us out of here, and you guys are going to follow me. And that's going to pass down to every guy through the coaching staff. And so this team can really expand what they're capable of through this move. And it seemed like Chad O'Shea was like the number one guy on the Chiefs list. They knew the wide receivers was their biggest issue, even despite the running game, even despite the running backs coach, who is also no longer on this team. But running backs and running under Andy Reid is not as important as being a wide receiver under Andy Reid. We can't argue that fact. That was the whole thing when you would get a receiver for Andy Reid. That's why Rashee Rice flashed and we liked him so much. Bro is getting involved in year one. That does not happen under Andy Reid. Andy Reid gives you a year and a half to a season, and then all of a sudden you showed up to be an NFL wide receiver. And so now we've seen those players who've had to kind of regress, and they're like, okay, we got to make up some room because we still think that these guys are our present and our future. But just in case they're not, we're going to bring in a guy that can make chicken salad out of whatever parts of the chicken get thrown in there. And, I didn't throw this name out there during the Eric Bieniemy Senate, and I should have, because he's happy that Eric Bieniemy's back. Tyreek Hill, y'all.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is somehow going to be available for us next offseason, and it sounds like they want that reunion. I mean, that is a whole bunch of retreaded the same tires. But if Tyreek Hill and this team could magically fix this wide receiver group, absolutely, let's go for it. And because it's not the same wide receiver coach that he came in with, there's still some fresh ideas there. There's still this element of coaching. No, you're not perfect. We can do this a little better. Let me show you how. You need to trust me on this. Where last year there was no trust, I think this season they can come in, go to training camp. Well, who knows how the annual play and catch with Patrick Mahomes in Texas is going to go, since there is no Patrick Mahomes able to stand up to throw the ball. But I think we're going to feel a lot better or worse about this wide receiver room. Whereas last year, we kind of had this false hope that how could it possibly fail? And now we've seen it fail. And now we have this expectation of it being better because of there's new names and bodies in the room. So now how soon does that impression go? Because I feel like you don't have to wait for them to get on the field and start catching to be able to see the difference or be able to feel the body language change and all that to know, no, these guys are up a little taller. They have more belief in themselves. And it's less about like fun and more as like, no, we got some grinding to do. We got some work. And we're going to work on the dirty stuff. So that's what I think this O'Shea move does for us. It gets a guy who's experienced, who's been around the league, who's had success, and kind of places that in the room and says, hey, listen, guys, if you don't want to learn from the learning tree that I am, then it's you that's got a problem. And I think the front office kind of get that visual now of like, okay, we can't blame such and such who's not here. We can't blame ourselves. Now we can slowly start pointing the finger at them. And if wide receiver's a thing that has to go completely adjusted again, we're willing to do that because with this coach in particular, he can do the best out of anything. He can make a DeMarcus Robinson look like a really good wide receiver and now be passed around all the NFL. Like he can do that type of impact on a guy that should not participate as much, but because he can drive the most out of them, we get to see the talent that pours out and all that type of stuff.
Right. And definitely we'll see how things go for the season. Do we want to still be one of the worst offenses in the league, be mid, or go back to being one of the greats? It really shows once OTA starts, to be honest. Once we get back to training camp, hey, we gotta get it going, y'all, because after what happened last season, I don't want to redo that again. We don't want to be out here pointing the fingers on everybody and stuff like that. Hey, we got to start strong, and it starts off with training camp.
That's right. And it's time for especially these wide receivers to kind of step up. You know, like I said, Hollywood Brown's not on this team. Tyquan Thornton still needs to be like extended an offer to come back. But as of right now, it's Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. And after this year, the only one you still have is Xavier Worthy. And
right.
How the last couple of years have gone, you don't know if that excites you or not. So.
Right. And then can't forget all the come-ups. Hey, Royals, I know we didn't play you a lot, and we had a little bit of high expectations on you. But now this is the season to show, like, hey, I didn't have a greater season last year, but hey, I'm still here. I'm trying to grind this year to be the wide receiver 3, 4, or 5. Hey, I'm here to play the game. Royals, this is your time.
Jordan, that is an excellent point because O'Shea can get the most out of Jalen Royals, where last year the Chiefs were so afraid to have that man put his feet on the field, even just to throw a block, even just to act like he's going to play wide receiver on a play. They would not let that man touch a field after after the previous season in college having the most receptions.
Yep.
So you drafted a guy that you were so confident because he got receptions in college, you wouldn't dare give him one in the NFL, even when your wide receivers were struggling, even when Rashee Rice was gone for a while, even when Xavier Worthy was missing games. You still wouldn't trust him then? Okay.
Nope, it's crazy.
So we're putting this coach who's done his job and done it very well in this position. Now it's Jalen Royals' turn. He can sink or swim. I love that you pointed out his name because last year he could have been a bright spot on this team, and instead he kind of withered into the background. And last year we were looking for some bright spots. And Jalen Royals, I completely forgot he existed. So that's how much I thought he would contribute to 2026. But if he gets in the podium and Chad O'Shea does some things and gets him kind of standing up a little higher and parking his shoulders a little bit, I might be like, shoot, we got us a wide receiver here. I think we could do the New England route. We don't need first and second round wide receivers on this team to be good. That was the assumption 5 years ago under Patrick Mahomes. And then we've just convinced ourselves, no, you need a number one. You need this. You need this. Well, shoot. If Tom Brady can do it and you just keep him standing upright and give him enough time to throw the ball, that's what happened when we lost our first Super Bowl. I mean, shoot. Receivers were there. They just didn't catch it. And when they couldn't be there, it's because the offensive line couldn't hold Patrick Mahomes up long enough. This year, that should not be a problem. Like Patrick Mahomes standing up and finishing games and having a dominant offensive line, that should not be a problem in 2026.
Right.
So if that's not a problem, the receivers, ergo, should not be a problem. But if they are, then we know it goes deeper than just the positional coach that's bringing them on. But in either case, we are both excited that Chad O'Shea is here because it means there's kind of an adult in the room. There's some experience that's outside of the Andy Reid tree. There's some knowledge that goes beyond just what Andy Reid has passed down to his disciples. And now we're ready to see how much of an impact Chad O'Shea can make on our wide receivers. Because last year, what should have been a strong point arguably was the weaker of all the positions. So with the same names going into 2026 and a new and more experienced wide receivers coach, the Chiefs should not have those same type of worries. But we got a couple more months before we see them and talk to the Chiefs again. So, that's going to be the determiner now. But overall, it feels like there is some optimism regarding these wide receivers where last year the optimism started up high in July and then completely disappeared by the time the season ended. So do you have any final thoughts about Chad O'Shea and the impact that he may bring to this Chiefs team?
I'm just glad we got somebody with experience, has been through it all. I'm glad that we picked up Chad O'Shea. Hey, this is a great pickup. And like you said, a lot of people thought this was the better pickup, even more than Eric Bieniemy. It was just bringing back the nostalgia with Eric Bieniemy and what he has done outside of Chiefs Kingdom. But now that we're bringing in someone that's even more experienced, has been through the game, I feel like just putting those two together, hey, we might do something great with it. It's just the players got to come out and show it.
That's right. It's the ultimate signal that says, we promise we know what we're doing. And we will put things in place that show that if we didn't know what we were doing before, we definitely know where we were wrong and we're doing them now. So trust us, Red Kingdom. We will get us back to the promised land. The playoffs will be our home. We'll be used to playing 18 to 20 games every year like we used to be. And we don't have to be recording off-season content in the middle of January. That's the impression they want to give to us. So let's go ahead and finish our final topic of the day with Bills overdue. So the Buffalo Bills, following their tough playoff loss, let go of their head coach, Sean McDermitt, and the owner/general manager combo seems to be making it difficult to find a head coaching candidate for Josh Allen in order to get them over the hump. How should the Bills handle this process? And do you think that Andy Reid should have gotten worse scrutiny than Sean McDermitt since the Chiefs outright missed the playoffs?
With the Bills, it's just a whole kerfuffle of problems that should stay in offense instead of getting onto social media. Because the Bills, it's just a lot going on, from Josh Allen not getting to a Super Bowl without everybody in it to now your coaches, general managers, and everybody else saying, oh, we only got this person because of this person or how he felt about this person. Yeah, no, that's just way too much. Besides that, with Andy Reid, this is his first losing season since he's been with the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be pissed off about him with what he's done this past season. Now, if you want to start getting pissed off towards the end of next season, if we go back-to-back losing seasons, then that's a problem. Mm. So now, we just got to take a little baby steps, see how things go for the next season, definitely how it starts off. Because the way we started off this past season, did not look good at all. We running into people getting hurt, not great at communication. The chemistry is not there all the way. Team chemistry. Coaches really not butting heads when we do something wrong. But now it has to really show when we start the season who our first opponent is. We got to start off with a win. And it also starts off in training camp. Soon as somebody do something wrong, get in their ass.
Right.
Get on their ass like, hey, you got to do this, this, and this. Run it again. Play look good. All right, next play. Let's go. Mm-hmm. So we got to see how things go. We don't compare to what the Bills is going through. I can definitely tell you that now. We do not compare to what they got going on because it's a whole, excuse my language, clusterfuck over there.
Right.
We only had one bad season. We shouldn't let's fire Andy Reid. No. This is the first ever losing season he had since he's coached with us. Don't get your mind blown. Don't get mind blown or anything. There's only one bad season. There's only one bad season, y'all. That's it.
Right. Man, the Bills situation is weird because
very, very so.
I mean, if you watched that divisional game the Bills lost, I don't know if Sean McDermitt deserves as much of the blame as he's getting thrown at right now, man.
He don't.
I mean, Josh Allen got almost 5 turnovers just by himself. So that's the guy who's going to bring the franchise back. It's so strange that the person who performed the worst is ultimately the one getting rewarded the highest. And
they're trying to give this man the MVP.
And the GM that drafted him, who can't put another team around him together, is getting promoted more and more and got to kick McDermott off of his hot seat. But such a strange phenomenon that's going on over there where it's too much of a power struggle. And, man, you can't make the Bills sound like they're a good team. Otherwise, they're just going to ruin it like this and believe that that's what they deserve all the time. I mean, I feel like I'm guilty of this as a Chiefs fan, and we've been through the worst of the worst before all this. Yep. But this recency bias, man, is thinking, how in the world could the Chiefs let this happen? I mean, I was clowning anybody who said Andy Reid is close to retirement or should go in 2025, and then I'm almost changing my tune in 2026 just because of the nature of what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's like a passion and a tiredness thing. I mean, you say you want to be the best. Was Bill Belichick tired of going to the playoffs every year? Was Bill Belichick trying to take a year off to not go to the Super Bowl? Hell no. And when they lost, he was in the building the next day. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the things we heard was, man, this Chiefs they were ready. They were ready to kind of take a break and be done. It's like, man, why didn't they tell us that? Why didn't they tell me before I spent however much money going to their games? How much watching the games on TV? I mean, if their expectations have changed, that should have been communicated to us. Because all I know under Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is we host AFC Championship games. We don't have a losing record. If you had told me this season in 2025 that the Chiefs would have a losing record, I would have had to ask you, what what magnificent, large things went wrong. And nothing did until the end of the season with Patrick Mahomes, and the season was already toast by that point.
Right.
There were small, subtle things that just kept imploding this team. It wasn't this massive event and moment that brought it all down. It was writing on the wall from months and months before. So while I don't think Andy Reid should get fired or should be on the hot seat, I think I hope Clark Hunt is asking him some tough questions. I hope Clark Hunt is making him feel a little uncomfortable, because he should. You changed your owner's perspective. You changed your general manager's perspective on what a, quote, rebuilding year is like. A rebuilding year is winning a Super Bowl. No. A rebuilding year is your team explodes and you got a top 10 draft pick and you feel worse than the Jets, the Panthers, any of these other teams that are normally so down and out. You have put yourself on their level. So the Bills, I can understand if you thought McDermott needed to go. I think the timing of it is weird, and I think it was just we're ready to get rid of you, and unless we had literally won the Super Bowl, we were going to fire you. It didn't matter how we did. It didn't matter if the defense looked better than the offense. It didn't matter if Josh Allen played great or if he was trash. We're going to put the blame on you as the head coach, and you got to accept it, and you're going to be the scapegoat for Buffalo.
It was Super Bowl or bust. Super Bowl or bust.
Especially with no Burrow, Jackson, and Mahomes. That was the whole adage. You are the most experienced quarterback in the playoffs right now. What are you going to do about it? And Josh Allen said, I can't handle that pressure. I'm done.
Right. And the crazy thing is, if you would have got that win, your next opponents would have been either CJ Stroud or your rival, Drake May, in the Patriots.
And then we saw what CJ Stroud did by also having a terrible performance. So what does it say this year? That the best quarterbacks are second-year guys or just joining a team, but it's a good foundational defensive team. Defense is making its way back into the zeitgeist of the NFL. The defense is now controlling the pace and everything about these games. The Chiefs got great defenses, but they also were relying on their defensive coordinator to solve everything and not just putting good players in good positions.
Right.
You can throw just as much blame this year on the Chiefs' defense as you can the offense. The offense deserves more, but this defense also chose to make those same irrational, dumb decisions that they also thought their hubris could take away and keep them in that position they've been at. But no, it's going to you got to have some more aggressiveness. You got to get some younger, fresher juice. And, that's what this offseason will be about. But going into 2025, you had what you had, and you just believed that it would all work out.
Right.
Maybe Sean McDermott and the Bills thought that same thing. Maybe by the time Patrick Mahomes goes down, they're thinking, shoot, this is our playoffs to lose, man. We just got to not screw it up. And that whole time in their head, don't screw it up, don't screw it up. They almost screwed it up in the wild card against Jacksonville. So this Bills team was not ready to be like this prepared juggernaut team. The Patriots sure do. Man, you put an adult back in the New England role and an adult in the quarterback room, shoot, they look like they never left. That was such a terrible downstream you guys had. Poor New England. Y'all had 3 bad seasons and you're back on top again.
Right.
And the Chiefs hope to have an even shorter fall and rise again as well. But the Bills have put themselves in a corner to the fact that these offensive and defensive coordinators, I mean, they were going to interview Mike McDaniel, and he said, no, thank you. I'll stay in Los Angeles. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like it's a lot of coaches out there that are scared and not trying to deal with all that drama that the Bills are going through right now. Because all of a sudden, as soon as they lost that game, all of a sudden, boom, I'm going to expose you with this. I'm going to expose you with that. Oh, we only got Keon Coleman because of this and that. Like, damn, where was this at all season? Y'all was cool off and on during the season, but as soon as y'all lose one of the big games when it really matters, yeah, it's basically fuck everybody, pretty much.
Yep. Yeah, it was like burn it all down, except I know I can't get rid of Josh. If I get rid of Josh Allen, I'll never get a good quarterback here ever again. So I'm locked at the hip with him. But everybody else, okay, general manager, you got me, Josh Allen. As long as you don't keep making bad decisions, I'll keep you and I'll promote you. I'll promote you even. I'll show you I am solidarity with you and not the head coach. But we're not. You see the downstream effects. Now these coaches are like, no, thank you. As great as Josh Allen is, I can't pull you out of this mess.
Yeah, no. Mm-hmm.
So,
like, you got to deal with this on your own.
That's right. They're going to need to do like some of these other teams. They got a coach for 1 year. They're like, we know we're going to be bad. Just try to keep us above float for a little bit. And next year, somebody more prepared is going to take your job. And nobody wants to go to Buffalo now because they assume that's going to happen to them. And they're like, nope, if I plant my roots, I want it long term. And I actually want some say and control. I want to be able to build my team and not just try to fix together this other team that Brandon Beane has assembled. And that he and his wise choices have always been correct. Even when they make a mistake with Keon Coleman, it was correct somehow. I can't deal with that, man. Just be honest, for frick's sake, man. Just be truthful about your situation. And I think that was bugging me all this season, is the Chiefs were just not being honest with themselves. They kept drinking their own Kool-Aid, believing their own story, and not seeing what was directly in front of them. And it took the end of the season. It took that reality, hitting them in the face as hard as they could, and Patrick Mahomes' ACL tearing, for them to realize we can't keep doing it like this.
Right.
We have to have some realization. We have to have that accountability. Eric Bieniemy is going to approach Andy Reid when he's got some issues with Andy Reid. Eric Bieniemy is going to approach Patrick Mahomes when he's got issues with Patrick Mahomes. You can't have these people that can just have this stuff swept under the rug and just kind of forget about it and hope it doesn't matter and doesn't exist and won't resurface later. Everything hidden eventually comes to the light. The faster you can put that thing under a microscope with the flashlight and realize what it is, the faster and sooner you can fix it, and maybe the easier the pain of the effects downstream will be. But if you want to keep it in the shadows and the darkness for as long as you can, this is what's going to happen. So the Bills, they were overdue for this. And now they had no other choice. They're like, we put ourselves in this position. We didn't make it when we're supposed to. Everyone said we should have. We obviously did not meet expectations. Let's blow it all up. I just feel like there is not as much conversation around that with Andy Reid as maybe there should be. I'm not advocating for his firing. I'm not saying that. But I want some people to challenge Andy Reid and say, hey, look, Andy, maybe you don't always know the best way. Maybe you're not always the most adaptable. Maybe you don't always know the newest and best things coming out now. Maybe you're still holding firm to what you've known, but now we know something different. And are you willing to pivot and do that instead? That's what 2026 will show. If Andy Reid kept riding his same coattails and we see the same type of results, we can all change our tones about Andy Reid. It was great. Thank you. But there's also an end. Just like the Bills. Thank you, Sean McDermitt. We acknowledge we would not gotten to the playoffs and all these things without you. But now it is time to build past you and beyond you, and we need someone to take us into that next level. The Bills, I don't think they're going to find that guy soon, but history will.
Hopefully it'll be before OTAs and all that stuff. It'll probably happen sometime in the next few months. But with that situation, Andy Reid, we love him. Big Red, we love you. But I feel like, no, we don't need to fire you. No, we don't need to let you go. but you are kind of stuck in the old school ways.
Yes.
Just a little bit. Now it's time to go new school. We see all the youth on this team. We got a nice solid squad. Hey, let's go ahead and let's try to do something new. For example, hey, it would be nice to throw in another coach, Antonio Pierce. He's still got a great youth in him. Mm-hmm. Let's get some of that rowdy, rough style of play like Denver's playing. Like, let's see how Antonio Pierce trying to put in his talent when he was with the Raiders. Let's try to bring in some new talent, some youth talent to get with these young guys as well. So, just throwing some stuff up there. Let's see how things go. We had Antonio Pierce last season during training camp. We brought him in. Just say like, hey, here we are, da-da-da-da. Nothing happened with it. But now let's go ahead and throw Antonio Pierce one of the coaching positions, see how that go. You never know.
Anything to get some fresh juice in this room, get some newfound passion and energy, because that was the whole storyline. Is this team was ready to kind of have that down year and kind of rest on their laurels a little bit. Man, there are players and coaches every year that don't have a Super Bowl under their belt that really want one, and it's important to keep bringing those type of people onto your roster so you can have that hunger again. And you can feel like what it's like to not be satisfied and have to work your way through it and get there to reach the mountaintop and just bask in the, yes, thank you. We made it.
That glory.
I worked my tail off. We put in hard hours. We sacrificed. We suffered in various ways, but we reached the mountaintop. And there's some players and coaches that want to do that. Buffalo hoped that they would reach that point this year, and it didn't happen. Chiefs fans hoped that they would reach that point, and it never happened. Right. The Bills went higher up than the Chiefs. I mean, talk about Chiefs needing to rebuild. The AFC West, man, this is a different division.
Yeah.
The first year we ain't win that division, we're out of the playoffs. So first key, win the division. I don't know if we just stopped believing that as our mantra, or it just seemed way too difficult and they thought they could, maybe we can get the wild card, and then that became their mindset, and then they just kept going lower and lower.
Lower, yeah.
The Broncos are hosting a championship game tomorrow. The Chargers were in the playoffs and have more talent around them. And had a worse offensive line
than us,
still keeping Justin Herbert in games. Like Jim Harbaugh and now Mike McDaniel in front of him. That's going to boast it. And the Raiders are still trying to pick their head coach, but we know for a fact who their quarterback's going to be. He's going number 1 overall in the draft, right to the Raiders. So we don't got to worry. We don't got to wonder about that. So this AFC West is harder now. It's no longer a gimme and we can check that off and start resting guys in November. Absolutely not. You got to win each and every game. It's going to be a grind again. So is Andy Reid and this team ready to do grinding, or is Andy Reid kind of grinded out? That's what 2026 will kind of expose, because I know what 2025 was showing us. But now that you got a sourer taste in your mouth, now that it's official and you can't run away from it anymore, how does he approach this offseason, this season, this 26 into 7 postseason? That's what we're all ready for.
Yep. Oh, man, hey, it takes time. Like I said, this is something we're not used to at all. So now this is the true rebuilding season. Now we just got to take somewhat baby steps, but we got to be aggressive with it. So, because like I said, even to people outside of this, teams are getting better and better every single year until they have that down season. Like I said, Denver been rebuilding for the last 2-3 years, and look where it got to them now. They are hosting the AFC Championship, and we haven't seen that for them since 2015.
Yep, when they conveniently made and won the Super Bowl. So us in Red Kingdom Media and Red Kingdom in general, we are not hoping for a Broncos Super Bowl appearance or victory. But, you got to have something to strive to. And sometimes you got to see your arch rivals get to a place that you're not right now to kind of re-spark you and say, you know what, that should be us. That could have been us. Darn it, that should have been us. So we're going to make sure that we're there next year. Everyone says that that's ours. They took it. We fell off. We're going to take it back. It was ours to begin with. We let them take it. We're taking it back. We're not going to let them give it up to us. We are going to take it back. We are ready to dominate the West, then the conference, and then the Super Bowl. But you got to remember the right order. That you got to win the division. If you don't win the division, can you still get in and do things in playoffs? Absolutely.
Right.
But the teams that are probably going to either host it or be in the Super Bowl or come right close to, they all got that one and only bye week. So there's still something very important about winning your division and possibly having more wins than the other seeds above you. So you can bring games here in Kansas City. Right now we're seeing Snowmageddon happen here, and we don't have to worry about being out there for those games. And that's a sad feeling, Jordan. I should be wondering how I'm going to keep my warmth in this minus 20-degree weather, and instead we're here talking off season already. Like, this is such a strange phenomenon, but it's real and it's the truth and it's authentic, and we're just dealing with it and living it out, just like you guys who are watching and sharing our stuff. So, 2025 was not the season we wanted.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And we hope that 2026 is the season we want, because it comes with growth and change. And growth with change, sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes you have to hear and deal with things that you don't agree with. Right. If you want the success, then you're going to listen. If you want the change, you're going to be truthful about the things that need to be changed to reach the level that you want to be at. The Chiefs fell further down than they had given themselves credit or thought that they would. Right. But now that they're down here and they can be truthful about themselves and realize the effort it will take them to climb back up, now they can start putting in the hard work. As Eric Bieniemy would say, chopping wood, man. Get back to chopping wood. Stop looking at the results. Look at the progress. Look at the progress. Look at the progress. We will get there. We used to get there. We were there. We're not there anymore, but I have the vision. I can see us because I just saw us over here, so I know what it takes. Does it look the same? Absolutely not. But I still have the confidence that we can get there and do it just as well as we did before. Right. So if that didn't get you guys excited, if I didn't give you a good enough Eric Bieniemy pep talk to enjoy your wintry weathered weekend, then I don't know what will. Jordan, do you have any final thoughts to give the people before we close it?
Hey, I'm glad we are back at it again. Took us a couple weeks, but this is the first episode of 2026 of Gridiron Gambit. But hey, we are here. Hope everybody is having a great start to their 2026 year. But hey, we are back at it. We're gonna be seeing more content.
That's right. So we'll try to be here every weekend again as our schedules allow to kind of give you the latest of the Chiefs news. If we have some time during the week or we get some more people that periodically are on, we'll try to get you some more episodes periodically here and there. But at least for now, during the weekend, at least until this playoff run is over and leading up to draft, you'll be seeing our two smiling faces. So if you needed some optimism to help you go into your week or to tell you how good of a week it was, even when it wasn't, then hopefully us in this weekend slot can get you over the hump in some way or shape or form, because we love you guys. We appreciate you. Anybody that's still watching or listening with us throughout this period of time. Y'all diehards, your family to us. We appreciate you in any and all of those things we could say. But, you know, like Jordan said, it's a weird feeling. We're off season, so we got off season content. We'll see what comes up whenever we get some ideas. You know, there's a lot of lolling around time when we're trying to work on videos and talk about the next Chiefs game. Sometimes you're just in the wheel. You're just going. You got to do this thing, fix it, do this, worry about this next thing. Now we're kind of off the track a little bit. We can look around and say, what are some things I haven't noticed that maybe I want to bring to you guys? What are some experiences that I want to participate with you guys, or conversational pieces, things that aren't just Chiefs versus this team? What are our thoughts? Now we can go more in depth. Now we can go more off script. We can go off the wall. This gives us some freedom. So as much as we might not like that this is off season time already, it's off season, baby. So we're making the most of it. And with that being said, that is it for Gridiron Gambit. I hope you all have a good weekend. Enjoy enjoy the championship round, even though the Chiefs aren't in it. Hey, you got to have something to do. You're either like me and you just stay away from football altogether, or you're watching every game and you're hate watching. Either way, do your thing, handle business, come back when the season's ready, but stay with us during this off-season content. But with all that being said, let's go Chiefs.
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.